Everyone talks compounding interest. Everyone talks compounding growth, but few people talk about compounding. Hi, everyone. This is Jack Allwile. Hopefully, you've been liking my content. If you've been liking it, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel. And today, we are going to talk about something that goes unnoticed, I'd say, by a lot and thought about by a few. This is the compounding of those fees you're getting charged. In particular, we're going to go through an example if you're getting charged like a percentage of assets under management, for example, like a 1% fee. So with that, I built a handy dandy spreadsheet, and this is perhaps a simplification. I wouldn't look or think too much into the actual numbers I'm using. It's more of an exercise and for illustrative purposes, but basically I've generated, it's a scenario generator with random draws. And basically over here, I've set up, so if this is giving a random number from 0 to 1, if it's from 0 to 0.15, we're showing a return of negative 30%. And you can tell. And so basically, and if you want this spreadsheet, let me know below in the comments. But if you hit F9, it randomizes it again. So we're seeing a lot of different examples. But basically, I wanted to just show and remind people that if someone is charging you a 1% fee, they have to make more than 1% to get back to even. And you can see in this column, we have an example where each period we're just applying these annual returns to get the next amount. And in this column, column K, we are immediately taking a 1% fee. And then each year you're compounding with the annual return. And then at the end, the advisors are taking their 1%. So, and you can see as we go down, and I took this out 46 years. So the no fee to a 1% fee can be very significant. The difference here is 600,000-ish. And if you keep clicking F9, we can randomize it to see kind of the distribution of the differences. Now I can hear some of you saying, well, Jack, if I'm paying someone to do it, I'm assuming they're doing better than normal. So let's look at that. So even if they were to say do, let's say 1% or 100 basis points better than whatever the market's doing, in every period, you see at the end of 46 years, oftentimes the no fee situation is still better. Not always, but oftentimes. If you were to get, let's say, 2% better, then this now all of a sudden is ballooning in your favor. It looks like, very frequently, like, yeah, you'd probably choose to pay the fee. That all being said, let's go back to our not beating the benchmark example. And then you can kind of think through like, okay, so how much am I paying actually in fees? So here are the fees. And you can see that they're, whether it's going up or down, they're still collecting a fee, right? It's assets under management. So whether it's going up or down, they're still taking a fee. And depending on how you think the future unfolds, you could discount that amount, this fee amount. So here I had 7%, but this is basically adding up all of these fees you're paying out and coming up with a present value of those fees. So you can kind of think to yourself like, okay, does this seem reasonable to pay this amount if this scenario unfolds, or if I'm going to be paying 1% to an advisor? Would I be better off, or would I prefer to just have this money in cash? That's kind of how you can think of it. So hopefully that helps you think through a little bit of whether you should be paying someone to manage your money. Are you getting the value that you're paying for? Would you prefer to just have that cash and invest it yourself? Maybe you'd learn on the side, and that could be an added benefit. Said simply, there are no solutions, there are only trade-offs. So if you pay someone to management, there are pros and cons to that, as well as if you do it yourself. There can be some learning involved, but perhaps you'd be better off in the long run, and you need to think through those things and kind of parse out whether you think what you're paying for is giving you value. So hopefully you enjoyed this brief reminder of an episode, and hopefully it helps you make better decisions. And that's all we're trying to get at, right? We can't be so interested in exactly what the result is because we don't know for sure how the future is going to unfold, but we can get better at making decisions, and hopefully this will help you make better decisions.